Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to share my updated Supreme League teams for free-to-play mid and pay-to-win level. Basically gonna give you a bunch of different team options, and depending on what you have, hopefully they will be optimal for you. Group stage is gonna be locked in 22 hours, so I'm uploading and making this video at kind of like an unusual time, but I had to make it because we don't have much time until the lock-in, and I wanted to get the teams updated and out. Okay, so we'll begin with the free-to-play team. So free-to-play team 1 is going to be the budget Gwyneth team. Gwyneth is a very important damage dealer. You definitely want to build a team around her. This is going to be with Callan and no Celestial Hypogean, just for the free-to-play players. And using Eevee as well, who can be a nice healer and buffer for this comp, but definitely you can replace the Eevee for Alicet. That is a very logical replacement. And if you want to replace, for example, you want to run Gunner as well, you can definitely run Gunner in a team comp like this. I would change around the positioning to be something like we have here. Still going to be a very effective option and a good way to make use of Gunner. Okay, moving on to Team 2, this is going to be Perseus Team Comp. I haven't used Orion for the free-to-play set because I don't think free-to-play players should be fully, heavily investing into Orion. Better for you just to max out Gwyneth and save for a more impactful PvP hero. But this is the Perseus option, which you might have been building up for a while, and so you'll have more Paragon upgraded, just with Zandrock, Lily May, it's the usual stuff. And running with Frontline spell because you have 2 melee, actually 3 melee heroes. And Lily May, when she interrupts an enemy, that will trigger this artifact as well. So you can actually proc it. And that's why we have this team comp here. Okay, moving on to Team 3. This is just going to be Pandora, Shmira comp with Neuro to take enemy Lily May interruption. And we just have the Phantom to try and buff up the Pandora because there's not any major target on this team. And running it with the Valor Shield spell because that's going to give more protection and unaffected to Shmira and the Thorin. Okay, so that's what we have for Team 3. Moving on to Team 4, it is going to be the Frieren Himmel combo. Theodore boosting up Celeste to take an enemy Lily May if needed, and then you have Himmel buffing up your heroic party here, buffing up Frieren most importantly, and then you have your Phantom up front to get the Vanguard spell because that's a magical damage source, and that is going to increase your magical damage, and Ravion just for further buffing up the back line. Now, if you don't have Himmel, or Himmel will work as Supreme Plus for this team, and still probably is going to be a worthwhile option, but if you don't have Himmel, you can think about making a replacement with another, basically, you would want some other form of support, right? Or even if you have like an Ulna or something, Ulna protecting Frieren, basically that's the line you want to think about. But Himmel is a great option, even as Supreme Plus, it is worth running. Okay, finally we have Team 5, which is going to be the damage over time team with Bonnie, and we're going all out with the damage over time. Bonnie, Shadewing, and Citrana, triple dot damage comp and vitality debuffs, and then we actually have Igor. Because, again, if you're a long-term player, you probably have Igor Paragon upgraded more than your Zoria, and then it'll be better for you to run Igor. Zoria is really majorly good when you have a Thalia as well, or if you have Zoria high Paragon upgrade. But if you do, you can run Zoria in the team rather than Igor. It will stall the fight out longer, but Igor has more damage burst potential in the earlier seconds if that's needed. And the Surging spell you always want to run because there's more damage output and the shielding as well. So that is going to be the free-to-play set of teams. I just have to show you an alternative version, and this can work for any one of the teams. Basically, if you're missing one of the team comps for free-to-play, you can just throw in a Contess Stall team. Twins Contess, Rowan, Lily May, that's basically the core of it. And then one final Celestial Hypogean. Now, Baleran can work. Obviously, Saida would be the best option if you happen to have Saida, because she is a win condition of her own. But I'm assuming, fully free-to-play players may not have that. Baleran definitely is going to work. And even worst case, you can even use Aurora. Aurora is also going to be a good option because she... and I would probably have Contess then getting the buffs, but yeah, Aurora is also a good option because she will just complete the Celestial Hypogean Phantomal, and she's overall decent in PvP. So you can definitely go for, basically, this is what you can try to work towards for a Contest Stall team if you're missing one of the teams. And Lily May is great in Contest stall. You don't have to use Lily May. You can run another support or something, but Lily May is good because it just buys you more time by denying their ultimate. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the mid level of teams that we have here. Now, for the mid teams, I've actually put in quite a lot of Celestial Hypogeans and even heroes like Orion. So it is going to be like, you know, this is going to be for probably the mid to high spenders, honestly speaking. Otherwise, you can stick to the free-to-play teams. But anyway, here we have a team that actually I took from Swampy Tough, who's like, he's a competitive PvP player, and like I saw he was testing this team on his drill battle, and I ran some of the meta teams into it, and it actually has crazy burst potential. This is basically a version of Orion that is burst rather than Bruiser stall, like with the Mauler version, like with Coco Hepler and Eevee. That's the Mauler stall, bruisering. This is the all-out burst with Corden, Percy's attack buff, and Percy's damage as well. And then Orion getting the buff from the Phantomal, and, you know, even eventually Peggy ultimate for that damage reduction. And then you have frontline spell. So all-out burst damage. It does get countered by any Lily May or Dunlinger, but apart from that, it is very strong. It can beat, like, even Saida Contess. It can beat Freerin Wilder if they don't have Lily May in the team. And so overall, actually really interesting team, and making use of heroes you may not otherwise be using. So yeah, this is a great option for an Orion team. I definitely wanted to show this one. Now for Team 2, it will be Gunnar Gwyneth. Now Kulu is ideal. Kulu is ideal to run with Gunnar Gwyneth because of that wall and basically range defense buff for your team, but it's not essential. If you don't have Kulu, you can also use Alna here. Alna will be great. I would probably have Alna protecting the Gunnar. That would be my preferred option. The other choice, you can give it to Gwyneth, but I feel like it's kind of overkill because you already have Gunnar for that protection. So I would probably give it to the Gunnar here. Or even if you need to, you can use Dunlinger. Dunlinger also will be great. And you just have him protecting your Gwyneth just so that she has a haste and attack buff. And, you know, yeah, because you don't really care who is casting the ultimate. Like, you can give it to Siren if you want. But usually, I just try to ramp up Gwyneth as much as possible for this comp. But yeah, giving it to Siren is fine as well. But these are just some alternatives, right? If you don't have Kulu, that are also very effective. Okay, moving on to Team 3. This is Athalia, Graveborn, Zoria, Stroll. Very strong team comp. Well, I guess not. I can't say very strong, but like for that mid to high level, it is very competitive. It does deal with some of the meta teams, and basically the way we're running it is we're just giving Pandora buff to Zoria, so she's gonna hit as hard as possible. We have Nero additional life onto Zoria. We have Athalia being buffed up by both the Phantomal and the Pandora charms, and then we have Callum for that protection to ensure that Pandora and, like, you know, your team at least survives the initial 5 seconds, which is all you really need, and then Surging Spell to keep dealing the damage. Now, you can also go for some different options, like if you want to go for more all-out damage bursts, you can go for things like Shadewing, because that's going to have damage over time. It's going to help your bursting potential, or you can even go for Citrana Bonnie type strategies. Although then you would have to get rid of Pandora, right? Because you need another Graveborn hero here, so you could go for Bonnie, but honestly, I do like the Nero. I think it's really solid, and kind of like, it just seems the cleanest to me to go for this version. Anyway, moving on to Team 4, this is going to be your Freer and Wilder team with Ravion, because we're using Lily May on Team 5, right? You can use Lily May rather than Ravion in this team, and it does counter some matchups, ultimate-based matchups that don't have, like, Lily May denial. But Ravion is also solid here, and for this mid to high level, when you're limited on options, you kind of need to make use of Ravion, otherwise it's not really ideal. And we're running it with Rally Shield spell, just more protection and more buff for the Freerin and for the Ravion as well. And then finally, Team 5 is going to be the Saida Contest Stroll team at a mid-level. Like, I'm assuming mid to high level, I'm assuming you have Saida for AFK stages. She's a great win condition for your team. And of course, Contest is the other win condition. And Alicet you probably also have, and just to give an additional life to Contest, you don't have to run Alicet. In fact, Hepler would also be really great. almost doing the same equivalent job, and so Hepler would be a great choice here as well if you don't have that. But Aliseth is very, very good as well. Lily made to block the enemy just to give more stall factor, allowing your Saida to get off her ultimates, or the Contess to silence the enemies, and we're running breakthrough spell for the more ultimate cycling. So that is what we have for the mid teams. And before we move on to the pay-win teams, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight Store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thank you all so much for your support. Okay, so we will now move on to the pay-to-win teams, which are the teams I'm going to be running, at least for the group stages, probably for the Swiss stages as well. So team number 1 is going to be the Mauler Bruiser Orion comp. I do think Orion is still going to be my 5th best hypercarry option, at least for right now. We're running with Eevee for that additional healing and attack buff, and then Coco buff, Hepler buff, going to increase the health massively of Orion, and then we also have the Mauler Phantom unaffected buff right from the beginning. We're running with the breakthrough spell because we're running frontline spell on a different team. Frontline can also work on this team, but breakthrough is also great for this team, and we're running Corden. Now, the reason I'm running Corden rather than Zandrock, because in the past I was running Zandrock, but I like Corden more because he gives me the burst potential. Basically, this team is like kind of a hybrid between Bruiser and Burst, but it does both. And the burst, the basically ultimate of Corden is going to increase the damage output for Orion enough that it can even beat like Saida Contest teams, which otherwise Orion can sometimes struggle with if you don't have high enough damage, like high enough a nuking comp. If you just have a all-out Bruiser comp for Orion, he lacks the damage to actually deal with that comp. So that's why we're doing this. And it can also be at Freer and Wilder if they don't have the Lily May. But of course, Lily May Dunlinger do counter Corden completely because he's an ultimate based hero. But all teams cannot have that, and like it does give us the upper hand against like Saida Contest, like we talked about, like Freer and Wilder, and so that's why I think it is worth running. Like this, but Zandrock is a totally fine option as well if you don't want to go crazy with the Corden. Zandrock is perfectly fine, and into some matchups even better. But I think Corden overall slightly is better. Okay, moving on to team 2, we have the Sulfura team with Ulna. So we're gonna have the frontline spell. We do have a lot of melee heroes running to enemy territory. We have Athalia who's gonna dash in, and we have Mihira to, like, you know, group up enemies in the back. So the Phantomal and Sulfura should be moving up, triggering and activating our frontline spell, which is important. So what we have here is we have all an additional life onto Sulfura, which is important. We have the Phantomal buffing up your Sulfura, and we have the Nero giving an additional life to Sulfura, which basically Nero is like the budget Hepler for this comp, because we need Hepler for the Orion team. It's much more important for Orion than for Sulfura. But Nero can work here, and also Nero has another advantage. He can take an enemy Lily May interruption, and that actually is important because some enemy teams, they use Lily May to kind of give them the edge against the Sulfura team, because Sulfura without ultimate is basically very ineffective, and by delaying the Sulfura ultimate quite a lot by having a Lily May interruption, that actually can allow some teams to win against this. So that's why we have it like this. But you can also go for Igor. Igor is a great option into this team. You're definitely going to trigger frontline spell if you run Igor as well, and then he can have that HP recovery block. You might be thinking, well, why am I not scared of Orion anymore, because we're not running really any HP recovery blocker? There's actually one thing I found out, which I never realized when we were talking about Orion and HP recovery block, but actually there's a vitality debuff which Ulna will proc onto the enemy if like basically 7 seconds into the battle onto adjacent enemies, right? Either Ulna or Sulfura are going to proc it. And Orion is usually a melee hero, going to be probably one tile away from Sulfura, and then gonna be hit by that, and then his healing will be reduced for 10 seconds. So I'm hoping that vitality debuff is enough. The other thing is that the levels are higher. If you look at the Supreme League, level 900 is crazy. And what I've noticed is the higher level you become, the less effective bruiser and healing stall out strategies are. At least that's what I've noticed. I noticed that in Clash Fronts. I was like, my Orion did not stall out or bruiser nearly as effectively as on friendly duel at level 300, and Clash Runs was level 600. So level 900 is probably going to be even crazier, and probably bruiser is going to be less effective. And so this is why I'm really going to be testing my own Orion team in the group stages. And if I watch the replays, if it's just not bruising effectively, I may have to go for an all-out nuking comp rather than going for this sort of bruiser. And then, yeah, so that may change things. But for right now, this is what I'm running with. Okay, so Team 3 is the Gunner Gwyneth team. But the ultimate version, because we have Dunlinger as well. For that ultimate denial, we have Gunner blocking the gap in the cooler wall, which is really important. Nothing can get through. And we have the Phantom buffing of Gwyneth, Vanguard spell for that healing onto Gunner, and also improving our physical damage. And then we also have the Dunlinger belt onto Siren. So Siren can get off a potential ultimate, which can also be... It can sometimes be a win condition, but we're really relying on Gwyneth to be our win condition for this team comp. And we're running Kulu. Very simple. Yeah, I'm happy with this team. I've been running in Clash Runs. It's been doing well for me. Okay, moving on to Team 4. It is the Fear and Wilder, but we're running it with Lily May rather than Ravion. Now, I do have Ravion free. So if you want to use Ravion rather than Lily May, by all means, you can do that. The reason I'm running Lily May is because from what I've seen, it does seem like it gives me a greater chance into more matchups by running Lily May rather than Ravion. Ravion is a solid hero, definitely provides good value for the team, but Lily May can sometimes win your team the fight just off of that ultimate block if the enemy doesn't plan for it. And we fully plan for an enemy Lily May because we have Theodore boosting Celeste, so free run is free to cast her ultimate no matter what. And if the enemy doesn't do the same thing, Lily May will just get their free run and it's an easy win, right? And if they have all their other ultimate-based comps, yeah. And we have the Valley Shield spell. This is going to make Lily May even tankier, also with the free run defensive magic. And Lily May actually can, like, if she is able to survive long enough and get off multiple interruptions, it's just better and better for your team. So that's what we have going on here. And then finally, Team 5 is going to be the Saida Contest Stroll team. Very similar to the mid-level that we were showing, but using Gerda rather than Lily May. And Gerda is going to be overall better if you have her built and you want to run her, because her hot swing is going to make the allies unaffected within it, allowing, even if the enemy goes for like a silent strategy with Sulfura or any other way, your unaffected allies are not going to be affected by that silence. They're going to be free to cast their ultimates. So the twins, the Saida, which very important, you need to be cycling your ultimates. And we have the Wingard as well, so that we're not going to be displaceable, and also we have more tankiness, which is important. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for my Supreme League teams for right now. The only thing which is up in the air is going to be based on the testing and group stages, and I'll be watching the replays. I want to evaluate the performance of this team and decide, is Bruiser Orion good enough for Supreme League, or is it just better to go all out nuking Orion and go for like the mid level of teams that we showed the Lightbearer version? It very well could be that that is the case, and I obviously have all of those heroes free. We have the Rowan and Peggy, we have the Perseus. I didn't really want to use Perseus because like I've even EX reset him, but plus 15 reset him. But if he is the best option, then I'm fine with going for him and maybe even investing into him. But yeah, so that's basically what we have. This is the thing I'm the most curious about, how this is actually going to perform. The other teams should be very solid, and yeah, that should be good. So anyway, guys, if you have any other team formations you want to share in the chat, feel free to share that. That is always interesting to see. Good luck in Supreme League on the group stages, and I will update you guys when I have new information about my team changes or any other interesting teams I see along the way. So thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight Store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus Dragon Crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.